What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Kart 63. My name is Ben. Thank you very much for stopping by real quick. I know. Real quick, before we get into the video, if you didn't mind hitting a like on this video, possibly subscribing to the channel, that would be fantastic. I honestly, it's not that I want to go back to 2 videos a week because it's a little stressful on me coming up with topics and editing all the rigmarole that I have to do behind the scenes. But I will say that 1 video a week is it's almost boring. Like I think, oh, I have to do a video this week, and then only 1. It's kind of weird. Actually, I have 2 coming out. I got a special one coming out here this week. Product that I received, pretty cool, but you'll have to wait on that. Anyway, I didn't know what to write on the whiteboard here, so I wrote tires. Obviously, I came up with a better title for this video, but the premise here is I've been racing for 21 years now, I think it is. You do not know everything there is to know about tires. I do not know everything there is to need to know about tires, and as you pay attention throughout different areas of the country, different tire packages, different tracks, you're gonna find out that there's some things that people tell you and you're just like, you did what? One of the things that is blowing my mind, let me give you a background of what I know. All right, so started racing Paradise Speedway, Geneva, New York, circa 2002. We were running 33 outside, 22 inside bursts. And for the longest time, I ran bursts at that track till I started in UAS racing. This opened the door to open tire, which got me onto Vega and Vega Yellows, which arguably is my strongest tire. It's the tire I have the most experience with. It's the tire that I have been able to chemically alter to get it to do what I want. I have, more wins. Well, maybe not more wins. I have quite a few on Burris at Paradise, but anyway, it's my knowledge base. My knowledge base isn't in Maxxis. So the tire I've raced the least is the Maxxis because down south it's down south. It's far away from me. So I don't know all the process. All I can do is reach out to people and absorb knowledge from this region to that region, and hey, what's fast here, what's fast there, as many of you should do if you're planning on traveling. If you are unknowledgeable about a certain tire, about an air pressure, anything to do with that, somehow, some way, reach out and say, hey, does anybody have a ballpark figure of what you're going to want to do here? And this is kind of where I got into learning things that were just blowing my mind. So again, at Paradise, 33s, tire of choice, very little, no internal, whatever the surface was bringing you that day would determine what kind of stuff you would wipe on your burst 33s for that track. That was my home track. That is what I race all the time. Vegas, on the other hand, throw the kitchen sink at them, depending on how soft you need them, what you need them to do, this and that. That's fine. All of a sudden, this experience brought in that people were doing things like aging tires, and I'm like, well, Maxxis in particular. That type of information, although it makes sense, was all new to me. And it was probably last year before that. The deal is I didn't really pay much attention to it. It's not that the information wasn't there for me to learn, but it's a need-to-know basis. I didn't really need to know. I occasionally raced down south. Well, as UAS was having Grand Nationals and this and that on tracks that were running Maxxis tires, I was having to learn what they were doing and finding out that I'm way behind the 8 ball. So, the basic premise is you would, roll a set of tires, you would cycle them, so you would get them on track and you would put some laps on them and then clean them and set them to the side. This is going to age the tire. This is going to give the tire more durability. And make it faster on the high bite tracks. For instance, when I went to the Grand Nationals, I had month-old Maxxis that were way too soft, and I knew it immediately when I went there. It's just a process that I'm not quite used to. But this is definitely a thing, aging tires. And then to add into that, re-rolls. will fall back on what I know. If I rolled a burst at all, it was one time ever. I put internal prep in it one time. Does this mean that everybody always did that? Not at all. I'm sure there's re-rolls. I'm sure there's types of preps that are meant to go internally that come out externally. They will evaporate out of the tire. It's just never the way I have treated a tire. If I treated burst at all, it was very light on internal, and then I would do it one time. Kind of the same with Vegas, but Vegas were for a reason. Being UAS, being the tracks we run on, being the durometer that I would be dropping Vega yellows to, sometimes 20, 25 duro, you have a tendency, especially with high horsepower, you would just eat tires up. So make them good for the short term. So there was really no need to go ahead and re-roll a set of tires. But that doesn't seem to be the case, for everywhere. It's more common, down south, for instance, that you would have a set of tires. You would have, run whatever cc's you're running, say 50 cc's. I'm just picking a number. 50 cc's, you'd run the tires. Okay, I'm going to set those to the side for a while. When you go to reuse them, you might re-roll something on the inside, and I'm like, wow, what are you talking about? It's just, what you don't have experience with. This is very common knowledge to people down south. This is just the tire game. This is the way it works. You do this, you age tires, you put them to the side, you cycle tires, the scuff tires, I guess is the term. You scuff the tires and then you set them on the side to age up and to get fast. It's just nothing that I've really had to experience up here up north. Another thing would be that this blew my mind too. Being I came from Paradise, being the way we always ran tires there, and not for nothing. I don't want to, I was no slouch at Paradise Speedway. I won quite a few UAS races and some by a lot. I was on sometimes older burst 33s because you did need them a little bit harder, but never anything crazy. Now this came to my, maybe it was last year or this year, somebody said, during like say a big state race, you would never run the same set of tires a second time on that day. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like you just come with multiple sets, and then every time you hit the track, you have not a brand new set, but another set of tires going on your cart every time you hit track. Whoa. Just first off, who has a budget for that? I'm sure some of you do, and I'm not picking on you, but not for this guy. That's okay. I can see having multiple sets of tires for it, but it's never been the way I've raced. It's never been my experience, but that is a very real thing. To cut your tires, to have a multitude of sets that you come off the track. Yes, they come off your cart. Yes, they get washed, but that set of tires never hits your cart again throughout that race date, and possibly not even the next week. So another thing that I've heard is that you don't run bursts back-to-back weeks if you want the speed left in them, especially if you have prepped them hard. So say I had a set of bursts 33s and I was running and I did very well. Well, I would take that set of bursts, I would set them aside on the shelf, I would go to a new set, and those wouldn't get touched for at least 2 weeks or longer, depending on how aggressive I was with the prep on them that day, because you need that set to dry up to get rid of. You're gonna clean it, you're gonna surface them, all that, but you're still not gonna run them. You're gonna set them on the side for 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm just like, again. Who has the budget for this? But it's done. Because if there is speed to be found, if it's a tenth, if it's 2/10, if it's 3/10, or whatever it is, if it's a half a tenth, if your advantage is going to be tires and you have the means to do so, people are going to do it. We could probably get into whether or not this, but one of the biggest arguments is what is the downfall of karting, and a lot of it has to do with tires, what brand, how many sets you get, the people with the bigger budgets, blah, 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 blah. I can eventually do a video on that and my thoughts on that, but it just kind of was this knowledge that I'm absorbing throughout these past couple of years. It doesn't go to the contrary to what I've ever known. I guess I never really paid attention until it really mattered, till I saw what some of the elite drivers, the elite teams were doing to find speed, and I started to pay attention. Holy crap, they're not running the same set of tires. You know, holy crap, they're on old scuffs from a month ago. They scuffed these tires in preparation specifically for this race. It's something that I have never done, and I'm sure a lot of you haven't done. So just thought it would be a kind of, you know, maybe none of you have heard, you know, newer racers here, maybe you've never heard of some of this stuff. You're like, whoa, this is some of what you might be up against if you go to a bigger race. You know, regular Saturday night racing, it's fine. You know, I wouldn't hesitate at all to run anything I have at local tracks. But when you get into, say, your money classes, say you go into state racing, into where people have a lot invested to get that W, just to let you know, some of the stuff, you know, what they're doing is different from what you're doing. You know, do I think there's that much more speed there? Obviously, there's something, because they're doing it. That's does it mean I'm going to do it? I'll do what I can to get there, but I'm not rolling in it, you know. And good for you if you are. If you can afford to do so, if you got the sponsorship to do so, I hold no ill will against you. I know some people might be, you know, oh, just because they got a lot of money. Well, you know, sometimes they do. It's just the way it is. Anyway, guys, I thought this was, as the off season here, I kind of reflect how my season went, the stuff I've learned over the season. You know, and it might be a good time for you guys to do that too. Just reflect back. What had happened to you during the season? Did you learn any new tire tricks? Did you learn something that was just blowing your mind? Like, people wipe this on their tires. They do this. They ran that type of air pressure, and it was something that you never did, but no other people do. Does it make you faster? Is this something you should be considering, you know, putting a different set of tires on, you know, trying a different prep, re-rolling internal prep. I don't know. I still don't know about that one. I don't know which preps would evaporate internally of my track tack line. I guess I would have to reach out to track tack and say, hey, which ones do this? And should I be re-rolling in sets of tires? But anyway, I really do appreciate every single one of you stopping by and supporting the channel. I know the off months are going to be, you know, a little kind of bummer-ish content-wise. I got a lot of stuff going on outside of this channel, so it's going to be, I'll get the one video done a day, or day, oof, that would be crazy, a week, and I'll try and put out a little more content, some random videos here and there as they come, products, this and that, whatever I can get done, I will try and get done for you guys. But again, I super appreciate you guys coming by, as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.